What's up, everybody? My name is Rodney Johnson Jr. I am in my ninth year of education, 7 years as a CTE educator, career technical education teacher, and 2 years as an instructional coach, all in middle grades. So it's been
Nice.
it's been a time.
Yeah, middle school is no joke. It's no joke. How did you get in the field of education?
It's crazy because I never wanted to be a teacher. Never wanted to
Mhm.
be a teacher. My bachelor's is actually in business administration. I wanted to create my own business for that spot for youth to go to after school. That spot that just like they can hang out. It's a safe space for kids. But the thing when I graduated, you gotta have money to make money, and I had no money
Mhm.
to make
Mhm.
money. So I got involved in youth ministry at my church,
Yeah.
and it was literally the summer before going into my senior year, and it was just like the light bulb of like, I want to teach life. I want to really teach life. And honestly, I prayed on it, and like everything fell into place. um like all the business side of like life skills and handshakes and being able to like communicate appropriately is literally the classes that I was able to work in for sixth, seventh, and eighth graders. So
Yeah.
once I got hooked into there, it was like, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. You know, I attended a youth group when I was a teenager. I attended youth group for years, maybe from age 14 to about 18, and I feel like that was like a life-changing moment because it wasn't that my parents were forcing me to go to church anymore. It wasn't like they were saying you have to go to church. I had already stopped going to church. I was like, you know what, I'm good. I don't want to go to church. I'm good. I was forced when I was a kid, and I'm not going to go anymore. And then I was invited by my cousin. I go to youth group, and I'm like, oh, this is a whole different thing. I like this youth group here. I like that I made the choice. I made the decision to come, and nobody's forcing me to be here. And it so happened that my youth team, they're really good people at that. That moment, that time right there, that they really impacted my life and helped me through some tough years.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
tough years. I don't know if you went to youth group or not, but
Yeah, I was pretty much raised in church. Nothing like extra on the outside, but just like we were consistent going to Sundays, being involved in choir, being involved in youth group, youth ministry or whatever, and just rolled over into my adult life. And it kind of coincides with like the way I teach
yeah.
and the way like that life piece. There's this quote that I used to go to a ministry, and it was just like, we're just doing life with each other. And I take that over into education. It's like I'm a mentor. I have my own mentor group called Gentlemen of Quality. It's for eighth grade boys, and honestly, it allows me to do life with these young men and like make better decisions, building, connecting the dots when it comes to education and making correct decisions. So it youth ministry really pushed me to be the educator that I am.
I think I saw that a clip of that in one of your videos. It was like they're all lined up. They were all lined up, and you were speaking to them. They're all wearing maybe the same shirt,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
you were
yeah, yeah.
speaking to them about something like if the line that stood out to me was like something like if you do one thing, it represents all of us, or something like that. You
You're
had said
talking
something
about the
like that, like
brotherhood video.
if you do
Yeah.
one thing,
Yes.
yeah, if you do one thing, that reflects on all of us.
Yes. Yes. So
Can you
when it
talk
comes to
about that little short video right there?
my mentor group, it's literally become a brotherhood. Like, I don't want to do anything, even in my business classes. I don't want to be teaching you something that happens way down the line. I want to teach you something that you can use today. You can walk out my classroom and apply it. So the same way it happens in my class is the same way it happens in my mentor group. I want to teach you stuff that can happen right now. I want us to build a bond that you can literally, when Mr. Johnson's not there, you still got your brother's back, right? And I got the line
Mhm.
idea from a fraternity, like fraternities in college. So I went to HBCU. The Divine Nine was real big when you go to HBCUs, even PWIs, right? And they call it set, or they get in line. Everybody has a number. And I've been mentoring for 9 years, but like this didn't hit until like 4 years ago, and this group was just hyper active. the it couldn't be just a normal class. So I had to teach them in this line.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had it like to keep them focused. I would call set, and they would all
Mm-hmm.
get in line, and they all get a number. It was like a ownership to the group, right? And I'm a strong believer that some students should feel that fraternal bond before they even get to high school. I mean, to college. Like there's some college aspects that some of our students need before they even reach high school. We got a lot of students hopping in gangs and all this stuff for the feeling to belong to something. And we can't be mad at that. Like
Mm-hmm.
we can't be mad that you want to belong
Mm-hmm.
to something. Now, what you belong to is what we might can be mad at, right? And creating this
Yeah.
space where it's not just a class, but it's a brotherhood. Like I have loyalty not to like a secret society, but I have a loyalty to bettering myself, and not just myself, but also the team I'm a part of. So when we're talking about great behavior, when we're talking about scholarship, when we're talking about all these things, it's great that you signed up to be a gentleman and learn how to show quality. But you need to understand we're a team and an individual. So that video you saw was me letting them know that if you messing up, it makes the team look bad. It doesn't just
Yeah.
make you look bad, which provides accountability that some of them
Yes.
never experienced before.
Yes. I saw that video and I was like, yes, that's good. I like it. I like what's going on in this video. I like it. And then what you said, I was like, I like that. Um, I like how you were talking about teaching life. Teaching life. I think that that's so important. When I was in the classroom, it wasn't necessarily about, let me teach you math, let me teach you science. It wasn't about that. It wasn't about that. It was like, through math and through these subjects, I'm teaching you life. I'm giving you an assignment. What are you going to do? You don't get it. What are you going to do? It's difficult. What are you going to do? Are you going to learn the communication skills and ask a partner and ask them appropriately? Are you going to raise your hand and that? What are you going to do? If it's hard, are you going to learn to persevere? Are you going to develop the skills for perseverance, hard work, right? If you're just all these things like respect. Through an assignment, I could teach you respect. Through an assignment, through working in a group, I could teach you how to respect other people, other people's property, respect coming out of what you say. And so for me, it was like, let's teach life through these subjects. It wasn't, let me teach you math and science.
Yeah. I think a lot of teachers miss that, where it's like it's not, you're teaching more than numbers here, sis. You're teaching more than numbers here, bro. Like you are building the next people that can pay their bills on time. That's why I'm holding you to turning in your work on time, right? I'm building the next set of doctors and lawyers. Like I don't think that we realize that our classrooms are literally birthing places.
Mm-hmm.
Like the answers that we are waiting for now are literally sitting in our seats. And the way that I instruct is literally impacting our next president.
Yeah.
It's literally impacting those things that are around us every day.
Yeah. I used to have this thing on my board when I was a classroom teacher. It was this board, and it was like, and it would be like, okay, you have to have a strong mind, you have to be able to focus, you have to have good communication skills. I'd point to my heart, you have to be able to love. I'd point to my hands, I was like, you have to be able to work hard. I would point to my whole body and be like, we're a team. We're a
Yeah.
team here. And so whenever there was a problem in the classroom, I just refer to my board. And I'd be like, okay, where was it? Did we have a strong mind? Were we working? Do we know how to communicate? Where was the problem? There was a lack of one of these things. And because there was a lack of one of these things, we got to fix that. It's easy. What is it? What was the lack? You guys tell me. Oh, it was communication. We broke down. Yeah, we broke down communication. So what are we going to do now?
That's
What are
good.
we going to do? And it was a whole teaching moment about just teaching good character. Just
That's
good character.
And the
That's it.
crazy thing, yeah, like I'm getting excited because when you reached out, you were like, let's talk about culture, right? But like I don't think we realize if I handle culture, I handle classroom management. If
Mm-hmm.
I handle culture, I've given the expectation for my instruction,
That's
right?
right.
Like you literally just checked a child. by going over that poster. You just taught consequences, rules, and boundaries by
Mm-hmm.
going over that. When I set the culture in my classroom, I've literally set laws, boundaries, rewards, all that. And like a lot of times, the things that we be like, oh, that's just another thing I got to do. No, it's all one thing.
That's
Set
right.
the tone.
Yeah. You got you got that idea of setting the culture, and then you got the other idea of like, the first time that you talk out of turn, that is, I change your seat. The second time you talk out of turn, call home. The third time you talk out of turn, I send you to the principal's office. And it's that script that people play, like
Yeah,
this script of
yeah,
like, and that's disconnection. The students, I can't even connect with that. I don't even relate to what you're saying, But if you pull that student aside and you hit them with the culture of the classroom, like, hey, I have high expectations for you both behaviorally and academically, and what you're doing right now is affecting your future,
yeah.
your future success, and the future success of everybody in here, because you're disrupting everybody in this classroom, and we can't have you disrupt our success. So we're
Fact.
gonna go ahead and make some adjustments. What do we have to do? What do you think we have to do? Oh, sorry about that, Mr. Vergara. I think that we have. Okay, yeah, let's do those things. Let's do those
I
things.
I literally giving them ownership of the room.
Yeah.
And when they shift, you need to take ownership of your decisions, your whatever you said was wrong, whatever you acted. It's literally putting the responsibility back in their hands and being like, okay, so what you gonna do? What,
Hmm.
what needs to happen from here?
That's right. That's right. And let's talk about being a male educator.
Let's talk, bro. Let's
Let's
talk.
talk about being a male educator.
What you? Let's talk. Let's go there then.
Let's go over there, right? So, what is it like? I think it's like 77% or something like that are all female educators, right? Something like that.
They said 10% are all males. It used to be when I came into education, it was 2% are black males. Now it's 1.3.
It's pretty low, and I don't know what it is for Hispanic men,
Yeah,
Latino men, but it's low as well. I'm
it's
sure it's not up
we
there.
we are literally it's just. What's your thoughts? Where we gonna go? Because you trying to start
Yeah, it's So I think that it is extremely important for a school to have both male and female educators on the campus. You need both the feminine and the male energy. You need them
absolutely.
both. You
Yes,
need them both, right? You need them, and they balance each other out. They
yes,
balance each other out, so you need them both. And I think that, uh, and my role as a man on a campus, I feel like I bring how would I say it? I bring calmness, I bring peace, I bring strength. It's a quiet strength. It's a quiet peace. It's not something I'm not this aggressive, yell and scream at people and threaten people to do things. My approach usually is like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Hey, look it. I just need you to stop. I just need you to stop.
and
That's it.
our response, like, okay, so I'm so excited you brought that up because the presence of a male is so needed, right? Because I was just talking to one of my mentees today, and I asked him, why is it why do you think some people reject the idea of having a mentor? And he said that a lot of the students he came in with in his line did not have a male figure growing up. So responding to a male that is correcting them, they're not used to. So the
Hmm.
presence of a male on our campus is so important. Not We're not asking you to be somebody's father, but we're
Hmm.
asking you to be representation so that these students know how to respond to a male of authority, a
Hmm.
male figure that is positive, right? Like somebody has to show them the good attributes of a man, right? Somebody has
Hmm.
to, and a lot of people, when I was a teacher, I was asked, "Oh, you excited because you get to be there for the black students?" Nah, sir. Like I'm there. White students need to see me. Every
Hmm.
color needs to see me, and they
Hmm.
need to know how to interact with a black male, a positive black male, how to
Yeah.
respond to that, whether it be discipline or whether it be encouragement. Because a lot of times you get more discipline. You've never heard a man say, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And I make, like, that's one of my things when my students release from the class. All right, see y'all later. Love y'all. And it's just like we are setting a standard for these students that
Yeah.
they may not have ever experienced or may ever get to see again.
That's right.
Why do you think it's a lack thereof in education?
Male educators?
Yeah.
Why is there a lack? I feel like because raising children is a feminine thing.
Talk your talk. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were raised like, I want to be a cop. I want to be a police officer. Like, if we had a dog, it was something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or taking care of kids was a feminine attribute. You were less
Mm-hmm.
than a man. But like, the more that I'm in this profession, the strongest thing a guy can do is raise a child.
Yeah.
The strongest thing a guy can do is mentor or be there for a child. And I'm not saying we're asking teachers, and this is because education takes a lot, but we're not asking you to be fathers, but
Mm-hmm.
we're asking you to be a man
Mm-hmm.
in the presence. But I will counter this whole we need have a great need. I literally just did a video about this the other day. With our great need, I am begging my bros that hop into education, if you are going to be here, I need you here. This is, I just hopped in to be a coach. That's all fine and good. But the same energy you giving as a coach, I need that in the classroom.
Yes. The way I see it is it is a battle. This is a battle for the future success of the children that we serve. I see it as a war. This is a war because there are forces out there that are trying to pull our youth into negative avenues, right? Or make them not as successful as they can be. Make them so they don't reach their potential.
Yeah.
Right. And so I see it as a war. So every time I get up and I get dressed up as put on my assistant principal outfit, I'm going in to represent a male Hispanic Latino man
Yes.
at a school who loves and cares and is powerful but also kind, who could play soft and hard,
Both sides.
that kind of thing. And I know that this is a battle for this. I'm not playing a game.
Yes.
Like, this is not a game. Like, I'm not here to spend 8 hours at this place to just play a game. This is not a game, And so that's how I see it. I'm in these schools and I see kids just like me. They probably grew up just like me, who probably are going through the same things that I went through at that time.
Yeah.
And I'm here to be that voice to be like, it's going to be okay.
Facts.
You're going to make it. Let me help you through this, right? Let me lift up your spirit because you look down, and let's lift you up.
Let me help open your eyes to something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When I first became a teacher, me and my bro, I don't know if you follow Mr. Moore, but we have the same beginning story. It's like we were dressing up, and that was something I was adamant about because it related to business, right? And my first, like, somebody came up to me like, you got a court date today? You going to a funeral? And I was like, why does that have to be? You going to church? Like, why does that have to be the only place I get dressed up to be? Like, it's now, like, I, as an educator, it's my responsibility to break up some stereotypes, to open your eyes, to help expose you to something new.
Yes.
And that's why I'm so adamant. Like, we need male educators, but as a coach, as a teacher that was in the classroom, I don't take it easy on male educators. I'm be quite honest with you, like, because we're few and far between. And I'm like, and I'm more of a provoker. Like, go off. Your voice is needed. You got an idea, speak it at the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let them know that we're more than just disciplinarians. Let them know that we're thinkers. Let them know we come with strategy. Like, let them know. Your students need to know, like, I do math and I'm on the court. Like I need my peers need to know this, and the students need to know this. Like we
Yeah.
are so necessary now, so
Yeah.
necessary
What kind of response did you get from that video? Did you get a response from that video?
for the
Male educators need to step up. Did you get any comments or anything like that? Did you get responses?
so yeah, a lot of I didn't get a lot. I will tell you that. I didn't get a lot. And it's bugging me because I know the viral videos are the ones where we want to complain about education. Like the
Yes.
jokes about education, right?
Yes.
But I have some passionate content that doesn't go as viral, but the comments were like female teachers responding saying like we value our male educators and
That's
we're
good.
blessed enough to have five black or men of color
Yeah.
on our campus.
Yeah.
Like it's been applause in the group chat. Like it's been applause in the comments.
That's
So
good.
and it's like I tried to make sure, and I'm learning as a coach. The first year when I was in a coach, it was just like, oh, you going into make observations and all these things, and like you're wishing things were better in these classrooms that you were going in, and I kind of was like wasn't meaning to throw my weight around because like I'm so passionate about education. So now I'm learning, like even when it comes to male educators, like correction comes with love. Correction comes with strong words, strong passion, but also specific and strategic words to make
Mhm.
sure that my heart is given, but it's not coming off as anger, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does make sense. I'm in those classrooms and I'm giving feedback, and you know, it's an art. It's an art. It's not something that I'm really thoughtful when I give my feedback because the wrong feedback will ruin a relationship.
You talking.
The wrong feedback will ruin a relationship. So if I give a feedback and it's too critical or something, like I'm giving too much criticism and not enough like lifting the spirit up, and then I go back into that same classroom and you could tell that I'm not connecting with that teacher anymore. I could feel it. I walk
Yeah.
in the classroom and it feels a little awkward now. It feels a little different, and I'm like, man, I don't want to ruin a relationship. I don't want that. I'd rather us have a good relationship where I could walk in your classroom, you feel comfortable, and I feel comfortable, and you know, um, but I don't want to give criticism to where I'm ruining relationships, because that'll defeat the purpose right
Or
there.
ruining people's purposes to make you feel like this is not where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm learning, like I'm so passionate that like I want my passion to make you passionate, right? And I whether that come off in my words or my joy or whatever. um it's like even with the standard of teaching going, like we don't really know what it's looking like some days.
Mhm.
As an aspiring principal, I want to create a space not only for students but also for teachers to grow, right?
Yeah,
And what I'm learning is as a male leader, there's a lot of us that kind of get perceived as passive because we see the things, but we don't execute the things. We have great knowledge, but we don't. There's a lack of execution. So like I'm on both sides. Like I want to speak with love, but I want to move with love, and the love that I operate in is love of action, right? Love of execution. I want to be a man of my word. I don't want to be like I'll get to it and you can't depend on me getting to it, right? Like I'm learning that language and action is a is a love language in the marketplace, right?
Mhm.
It's a love language in education. It's needed to build up, but it's also needed to prove. That action is needed to prove, to show the people that I'm here and I'm about what I said I'm going to be about, if that makes sense.
right. And that makes sense. I want to ask you a question. All these things that you're saying, right? The passion that that I feel as you speak, is that something you're born with, or is that something that's taught, right? Because are you meant to be an educator? Are you meant to be a leader, or you're taught that? Like,
So I would say two things. I had to learn that I was an educator. And then when I learned it, I realized I was always an educator, but just never realized it. Some people are educators and it's lying dormant. So you can learn it. There is a type. I think there's two. I think it's two. See, what you're not about to do is corner me, right? So,
yeah.
so Like, I think you can learn to be a great educator, but there's a part of an educator that thrives off their heart, that when you're doing the things, you're doing it out of the heart of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a coach, I'm spinning back your question because I'm gonna ask you, but like, as a coach, I'm realizing, can you teach everything? Can you really teach everything? Because we're getting to the point in education, and I'm all about self-care. I'm all about doing the things. I feel like I've been in education. I'm young enough to understand self-care is needed, but I'm old enough to see the old traits of the old heads where, like, we do what it takes
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what's going on, right? If I gotta take it home, I'll take it home. I haven't done that in a while because I get it done before I go, right? But I'm doing what it takes to get it done, right? And I'm learning that there's educators coming into the game now, like, and I'm like, why are you, where, what's, why do I gotta say this? Like, and it's not even talking about strategy. It's
Mm-hmm.
talking about heart. Like, why are we not picking battles? Because if he was really the center of the education, if students were really the center of your focus, why are we here?
Yeah.
What are we doing? And you really can't be here for the check. So now
Yeah.
I'm really questioning what can you teach it or not?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I say yes. I say yes because sometimes people may have a misunderstanding of what education really is. And that can be taught, but it's one of those things that has to be repeated a lot because you have a strong misconception that's ruining some things in your classroom.
Yeah. I feel like if you if you were born if you feel like you're born to be an educator, like if you feel like you're born to be a leader or to lead a group of youth, right? Then it's much easier to learn new skills as you go because you have this base. You have this base where like you feel like you're born to do it, and you know how to connect with people and kids. And then whatever you learn on top of that, it just makes you even grander, bigger because you just learn so much. But if it's flipped and you don't have that base, you felt like that wasn't, you never felt like you're born to do it. And so you get into you get into the classroom, and now you're trying to learn these skills. You're like years and years behind somebody who was just born to do it. It's like in sports, right? Like if you were playing basketball at 2, and then you just kept building them and you loved it and you kept on building and building, and by the time you're in high school, you're a senior, you're balling. But if you were a junior and decided, hey, I want to play basketball, and started taking up skills like little, classes, trying to get better, and you're up against the kid that was playing since he was 2, good luck. Good luck. You could learn some skills. You could learn how to shoot, and you could do some things. But the guy that was doing it since he was 2, who felt like he was born to do it, I don't know.
The guy that was doing it since he was 2 is going to be a challenge, but that doesn't make it impossible for you to learn the skill. Because there's a lot of dudes in sports, don't know sports, but I've been told, let me put it like this. And you can even see this with our students. There's some people that can just go in the classroom and just get it and don't have to study.
Yeah.
And you've been, but like, I'm not going to tell the person that all you need to do is go home and practice
Mm,
and study the craft, even when you don't want to. But if you want it bad enough, you can work at it and get it done. You can be taught, but it's a you that question.
what's the secret? What would you say is the secret? Like, if you had to say, like, if you just have this much in you, then you could probably be a good educator. And I'm gonna say this: when I was young, when I first wanted to get into education, I just had a passion to serve children and families. I didn't know what my degree was in social work. I want to be a social worker, but I just had this passion. Like, I want to help. I just want to help. How do I help kids? How do I help families? And because I had that in me, I felt like I was just naturally drawn to helping. It was just, let me help.
Yeah, yeah,
Teaching,
yeah, yeah.
that sounds like something I could do.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like if you have that in you, like, you know what, I just want to help. I just want to help. That's all. I just want to help. I think that that is a start if you have that in you. Yeah.
I would say if you have that in you, keep going until you find your space.
Hmm.
I have a bro that hopped into education and he realized he did a whole year, realized that teaching just wasn't it for him. But
Hmm.
he didn't get out of education. He's actually a TA now. And I see so much joy, so much presence. He's doing more for those students that he's with. He's setting a level of standard that they weren't getting before him.
Yeah.
And they look up to him because he's doing the thing. So, like, I've learned through that experience, everybody can't be maybe the type of educator, but they can find a space. You got to find your space, because if they're not doing well in this classroom, they might find a space somewhere else that they can be valuable at. He's a coach now,
Yeah.
basketball coach. He's a TA. Some people just need to be told what to do.
Yeah.
And some people, I'm not saying that's him, some people just need to be told what to do, while other people can handle making decisions, creating culture, creating all this stuff, while other people can be assistants.
Yeah.
And I think the big part of that is finding your spot in education.
Hmm. And I think that if you were to say that I'm going to I'm going into education for the vacation, for the holidays, for all of that stuff right there, that you're not gonna make it.
And that
You're not
vacation
gonna
is
make it.
that vacation is not going to be what you thought it was going to be.
No, because you're gonna spend whatever amount of months, to you it would be hell. So you'd be in hell for whatever 6 months, and then you get summer vacation. You start in January. Let's just say January. By the time you get to June, that's six
Yeah.
months. Now you get your summer vacation. Then it's
And don't
back to hell, I guess. Back
and
to hell.
because between what is it, March and April, no, February to March, it might not be a break to spring break. So you
Yes.
might you might be struggling.
Yep. Yep. And and being in the classroom and you don't want to be there, that's the worst kind of hell, I feel. That's like the worst kind of hell. Like I've seen, I've been out of the classroom for, what did I say, 3, 6, what is it? 3, 6, 7 years. I've been out of the classroom 7 years, 3 as a dean and 4 as assistant principal. And I've seen so many teachers, and I've been in these classrooms, and I could see teachers who are going through it. Like they're going through hell. It's miserable for them. It is miserable, and they're all, and I'm like, man, I don't know how you're going to make it. You don't want to be here. The kids don't want to be here. That's rough.
I'll be honest with you. I literally tell people with great skills, great public speaking, great all this, you're a great TikToker. Your stuff go viral. And they be like, I see a difference in the educators on TikTok now. Like, I think I might be a teacher. Great. Don't get in here if you ain't got the heart for it.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking from, like, I get real fatherly when I think about kids and the impact. Like, it's literally, my friend was telling me that it's data that proves that a child is better without a teacher than a teacher that's in there and can't do the stuff, or is not willing to do the stuff, or is not passionate about this stuff. Don't get into education if you are not passionate about it. And
Yeah.
I say that with the most respect.
Yes.
With the
Yes.
most respect. Your mental health is going to be worried about it. You're going to be
Hmm.
stressed out, but also those kids are going to feed off of what you giving. And it's not that. Like, that's not your space. Find your space.
Yeah. So you were in middle school for, you said, about 7 years. You did 7 years in middle school and decided to jump to be an instructional coach, correct?
Yes, yes.
What made you want to take that leap?
I didn't want to. So
You got forced into it, or what?
it's crazy because, like, I didn't think I was gonna be a teacher. Ended up falling in love with the heart of teaching. I remember sitting at my first principal's desk and I saw all the things she had to do. And I was like, oh, you can have all this. Like,
Hmm.
I'm fine in my corner. But, like, I kind of got mundane. I've always wanted to be a teacher of teachers. Always, because, like, my main goal is to change the way students receive and perceive education, how it looks, and how they getting it. So I want to be a teacher to motivate them, to empower them. I do motivational speaking, like invite me to your school so like we can build onto the vision that you're doing, like empowering teachers and students to create that space, right? So once that like became a part of me, I started getting into my master's program. A lot of my former teachers or principals now, and they was like, go. Everything started lining up. Go for your admin. We need it. Let's go. So I hopped into my first two classes, and literally it expanded my mind on what instruction looks like. I was asked to get the position the year before, and I was like, no, I don't think I'm ready. I'm an encore teacher. And you know how they look at us like, oh, he really don't teach. Like they really don't, he ain't teaching like core classes. Um, so I already knew I had something to prove. But after I took those master's programs, those master's classes, those first couple, I was like, yo, the title of not the title of instructional coach, but when you are a instructional leader is something beautiful. It is something beautiful where I can literally orchestrate the way students think to change their perspective on life. I don't think teachers realize the power they have when they step in the room.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally a choir director or a band director when it comes to math. When I step in the room, I'm orchestrating movements. People literally shift. Perspectives change when I come in the room. Why?
Yeah.
Because like I gotta plan that from A to Z.
Hmm.
I'm a culture builder. I'm a perspective changer. I'm an eye opener. Like I'm like I'm he. I don't
Yeah.
think that teachers realize the power that I'm changing stereotypes,
Hmm.
not by giving you my perspective, but opening your eyes to the truth, exposing you to experiences that you may never have seen before. That's an educator.
Hmm.
So when you start looking at the data and seeing who's the low, but these are the students you communicate with all the time, it just blows your mind at like, why is your mental capacity at this? We need to expand this.
Yeah.
So that's how I hopped into it. I almost got stirred, so let me calm down. That's how I hopped into instructional coaching, and like literally I just never thought that I would be admin. And the crazy thing is I made a mistake in my first go around with my master's and I had to come out. But that's how I got into instructional coaching. Like since I'm out for right now, let me see what this is. And it's literally giving me perspective that I never knew what was going on both sides of the desk. You see it from the
Yeah.
teacher side,
Yeah.
but bro, when you get on that other side and be like, oh, that's why we don't do that.
Hmm.
That's why that's in that red tape. Oh, that's why. Like this, if we would realize as teachers, if our principals sat us down and really told us the conversations they be having behind closed doors, we would be like, thank you.
Hmm.
If we realized how much our principals are covering us,
Hmm.
because everything we really don't need to know.
Hmm.
The battles y'all be fighting, sir. Just take your battle. The battles y'all be fighting every day, and
Yeah.
then the least I have to say to you is like I didn't see you today because I was back here fighting, my guy. I was
Hmm.
back here getting beat up, but like
You
it,
know, yes, and it's not that the adminers. There's a stereotype. I feel like admin are just in their offices and sitting there and doing nothing. That's not happening.
sir.
There's no way. There is no way that I could sit there and do nothing. Sit down, drink a cup of coffee, eat a donut, and when kids come my way, give them a candy, a lollipop, and send them back to class. That's not
That's not what's not
happening.
happening. That's not happening.
No
That's not.
way.
But also, I will say it is happening in some places. I ain't gonna say that, but
Maybe.
it's not
Maybe.
happening for like the passionate ones, and that's why I want to be a leader that is like transparent. You ain't gonna know all the things, but if there's something really going on, I need you to trust me to know that you gonna know, right?
Yeah.
I need you to trust me to know. Like we were raised, I like using the word raised. We were raised as educators that relationships matter, and we always want to focus on the students. And a lot of our campuses are struggling with culture is because we don't think about the relationship side by side. We
Hmm.
talking about we need you to do cross curricular teaching.
Hmm.
I'm cool. I'm just cool with doing social studies. But if we was cool and and I really knew how you teach and how you were vibing in your classroom, bro, the cross curricular would just happen because out of the relationship.
That's right.
If
Yeah.
I take the time out just to key in between classes and make a joke, that relationship has just opened the door to social studies happening in math and math happening in science. I can't tell you the amount of times that I be in my mentor group in room 3, but in room 4 is the social studies teacher, and we're talking about something going on. And I'm like, what y'all learning in class? And I hear their misconceptions. So I swing the door open and be like, Miss O. And like, I done got real comfortable with, like, I'm hollering down the hallway. She be like, Johnson, what's going on? Now we're both in a mentoring group with 8th grade males talking about social studies, and they're engaged and they're making connections. We got to build those relationships.
Yeah.
That's the hang up with education. Then that goes back to what you said earlier. It's more than numbers. It's
That's
life.
right.
If
That's
I'm not
right.
doing life right, how am I doing education right?
That's right. And why don't you believe? Well, here, I don't believe that all educators feel that way about relationships. I feel like they just don't, and I don't know why. I don't understand why.
Is it a culture thing for our society? Because a lot of times, and I know some people are introverts. I know some people. I'm a lot for some people. I've had to grow on some people. I've had to learn how to ease in. But like, I feel like our culture sometimes it's made it okay to be silos. But then
Mhm.
we come to meetings and then be like, we were just joking about this today. We come to meetings and want it to be done, and then we trying to figure out why stuff ain't moving as smooth as it should, or why we ain't communicating.
Yeah.
And then we'd be like, this could have been an email, which I agree it could have. But then you ain't read your email. So then when we
Mhm.
get to the staff meetings and ask your input, I'm learning teachers, me, educators, sometimes we just don't know what we want.
That's right. We
So,
want the easy route. We want the easy route.
and we do. We
Yeah.
do. Because this is hard work. But I
It is.
get it. I get it. Like relationships it matters for I learned that early on because when I was a first year teacher, I was doing the things. Like, and I don't say that to brag, but I say that as encouragement for those. We need that wisdom, and we need those new teachers. Like a lot of new teachers are failing because they feel like they're not like the person down the hallway. But you were hired for your fresh perspective. These students are staying here because you look different. I use my age as a plus. I was
Yeah.
the youngest on my campus, the only black teacher, and that is a strategy.
That's
And
a
if you're not
superpower.
using
That's
that,
a superpower.
that you tap in. We
That's
didn't
right.
ask for Bertha down the street. We asked for you,
Yeah.
right? And the thing is, I say that because I learned relationships matter because I was doing in order to get my students to dress up. I had somebody tell me, don't do that. We're Title 1. They can't afford it. That's why I need them to dress up.
Yeah.
Because if we can ask for J's, we can ask for a button up. Right? It's not that it's impossible. They just ain't been exposed to it or required of it. So in order to do that, I used to do leadership summits after school. And like I would bring in the pizza and I would create competitions where they would have to be blindfolded and doing obstacle courses. But they was learning how to speak. They was
Mhm.
learning how to give direction. They was instead of come here. No, you gotta communicate, baby.
Right.
Uh or what is it? Or they learned how to give speeches.
Yeah.
They learned how to think critically, but it was just in ways that they didn't. Those are the spaces I like building. But in order to do those things at the school, build those obstacle courses, I needed people that was gonna stay after. We can't we can't build these beautiful monuments of education by ourselves. You will die. Like
Yeah.
education is too beautiful to do it by ourselves.
That's a good
Edu-
point.
Education. If we want data to be great, it's too beautiful for just the science teachers just to be teaching science. We just found out this year that the science test is being built like an ELA test. So if I'm not teaching ELA in science, we got to communicate.
Mhm.
Which is why I will go back to leadership and saying at the beginning of the year, it is imperative. And I only know this because I've seen it. I only know this because I see it now. It is imperative that we build teams that are durable, relational. We know the vision and we are the vision. Like, we ain't got time. A lot of people like, I don't want to do that team building. Okay, we need to make it look like something else, because I need to know by day 50, when the lights go out or the electricity go off, you built different. Like, we ain't got iReady on the laptop right now, but iReady about to be on this whiteboard. Like, if the whiteboards went out, you ready to use chalk. Like, I need to build a team that's ready to use chalk on one day and then got your laptop ready the next day, right? Like, what
Mhm.
happens when the smart board goes down? We need to be able to be built different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut up because I'm getting stirred. But yeah.
No, man. I'm enjoying the conversation. I mean, trying to improve education, trying to make spaces better, trying to build culture, trying to build community. It's a difficult task, and you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. You need a team. You need people that are dedicated, that love what they do. You need leadership that loves what they do. You need people to go past contract hours. You, like you said, you're building these obstacle courses after school. You're doing this thing after school. You don't get paid to do this after school, but you know that in order to build that culture, in order to lift up the students that you're working with, it's necessary. It has to be done. That's the difficult part. You know, what you have to get the right people on the bus.
Yeah.
You have to get the right people on the bus that want to build this space where students could thrive, and it's about them, and it's not about being, for me as an educator, it's never about me. It's never about my needs, you know. And that, I'm not saying that to make myself, you know, but I know it's not about me. Just like being a father, I have 3 kids. Being a father, once I became a father, I knew it wasn't about me anymore. This is not about me. It's about raising these 3 kids right here. I need to raise these 3 kids and make sure that I give them all that they need to be successful. And that's all of me. Like, all of me, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give you all my time, my wisdom, my energy, so that you guys become great. You guys become great. When I go into the classrooms, right? When I'm an assistant principal, it's like, for the time that I'm here, I'm giving you my all. I'm giving you my all so that you guys all can be successful. And that's with the students, and that's with the staff, the teachers. You know, if anybody needs my help, the minute I start to say that I'm too busy,
Yeah.
or I say that's
That's
for
good.
somebody else, or no, you know, I'll get to that, you know, and I never do, that's where I lose my credibility as a leader at the school.
That's
So
yes.
yeah, somebody says, Mr. Vergara, we need help in our alternative classroom. You know, something's happening and we need your assistance. I'm there, right? I'm there. If I'm on the yard supervising, one of the supervision aides is like, Mr. Vergara, can you come out here? I need you to talk. I'm there. It's not like, oh, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna go immediately,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I know every time that I go immediately, it builds this community. The staff knows Mr. Vergara will show up. The students know that Mr. Vergara is going to come and talk. He's going to come and talk to me because they
It's the
called him
standard.
and
It's
he
the standard.
comes,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
I
So
think
it's a hard task
it's a hard
and a
task.
necessary task.
Yes, that's the word I was getting to. Like,
Mhm.
I posted a video the other day about leadership, and I made a mistake the other day. Like, I just dropped the ball, and like, I needed some grace. I messed up. But at the same point, I had to realize, as a leader, I don't get the privilege to have a day off.
Mm-mm.
That, like, we was raised, I want to be the line leader, but ain't nobody telling you that you got to be the first one that go around the corner. You got to be the first one, and you better be prepared to bring everybody else around the corner to something they don't see, right? And it's like, it's not a privilege to be like, oh, I'm up here, y'all know. You asked for that, they didn't. And since you here, you need to know how to balance it. You're right. I got to hold the standard up. If I'm requiring teachers to hold the standard, I've got to be the standard.
Yeah.
I've got to be the standard of heart, the standard of instruction, the standard of strategy, the
Mhm.
standard of being open. It's I got to be the standard.
Yeah. Yeah. And you make a good point about creating spaces. As a leader, you got to create these spaces where these spaces that weren't there. that weren't there, and you're the one that creates them. And I think that for me as a leader, that's the part that I'm learning, is that I need to create these spaces. It's okay for me to be like, I'm gonna host a parent meeting for students with disabilities this week. They're going to come in because they don't understand the process. So I'm going to go ahead and teach them the process. And, they have questions. I'm going to answer the questions. I created that space. And that's something that I'm learning, right? I'm going to create this after school program, and I'm going to be the one that's in charge of this. Every Friday we meet, this mentoring group or whatever, we meet this Friday for whatever amount of Fridays. I create that space. And that's something that I'm learning as a leader, is that these spaces don't create themselves.
Yes, you talking.
They don't create themselves, right? It's somebody that has a passion that's like, and sees a need and is like, it's me.
Yes.
I'm the one that's supposed to create this. I can't wait for somebody to do it. Like, I'm going to create the space. And that's something that I'm learning as a leader right now. Yeah.
If we wait, it'll never happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing is, I'm crazy enough to believe that education does not have to look like how it's always looked like. And like, if I had to encourage BTs, beginning teachers, like, if you see it, make it happen. Like, of course, the old heads are going to come against it, because that's just wisdom sounding a little bit different perspective. But like, we're in 2025. We're dealing with kids that have different things. And a lot of times we be like, let's do this, but the parents ain't gonna come. All right, go to the neighborhood. Go what the block party. If the community ain't doing it, let's be the community. Like, we want teacher engagement. Do it. Do it. Build the strategy. The house will not be built if you don't do it.
Yeah.
I told my bro, and then a lot of people be like, well, they're not enjoying it now. I've learned through my mentor groups, through my teaching, like, you never know how good the stay was until they check out the hotel. You never know how good the people got to sleep the night to see how good the sleep was.
They have to come first.
Somebody got to hit the door and say, check out is at 10.
Yeah.
And you will never hear the feedback until they leave.
Yeah.
That's real life.
Yep.
We can't keep being negative about what has happened before. Build it and they'll come. And if they don't come, check the strategy.
Yeah.
That's business. That's business. That's architect. That's like, we always talk about our cities don't have this, that, and the other. But we're literally running cities every day. We want engagement to look different. We want the parents, go get them. Go get them.
Yeah.
Go to the house. And I'm learning that whether it be charter, public, wherever, you can do what you want to if you know what you're doing now.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, if you do everything by the bylaws, if you do it right, I want the responses of, I've never had an educator do that. This year for GQ, we have them interview. We just started doing interviews, right? To get to know them. The year before, they wait all summer to see if they're going to be inducted or chosen to be a gentleman of quality. The week we got back for school, we made these envelopes, blue envelopes. There's actually a video on my page where I literally go house to house, door to door, and literally deliver the envelope. Like, these are experiences.
Yeah.
I'm the experience. How people experience me is how they experience math, science, social studies.
Yep.
If we want to change the face of education, change it.
Yeah.
Create the space. Create the space.
How do you enjoy making social media clips? How are you enjoying your social media experience? How's that going?
I wrestled for a minute now. I got tired of editing or whatever, because I never want to miss the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of my videos went viral for a time because, like, my bro, he was recording me while I was mentoring, and everybody loves it. But like, I want to make sure that I protect these spaces. Like, I want the people to see it. because like I want to create these spaces. Invite me so I can help you create this space, right? Invite me, and that's why I do the TikTok. So like I want to encourage somebody, I want to empower somebody, I want to educate somebody. Those are like that's my that's my thing:
Mm-hmm.
education, youth empowerment, and ministry. Right? I'm enjoying being myself in these clips, right? It's frustrating because I'm like, that should have went viral. I need the people to hear this message. That should have went viral. So I'm enjoying
I
it,
feel that all
bro.
the time. I feel that all the time.
Like this is good, but like I'm just trying to be consistent and keep posting. That's just in the back of my head. Just keep posting. Just keep
That
posting.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, it could be discouraging where you think that's gold and why didn't it go viral? Like, and you're like, man, like nobody appreciates this. Why am I even doing this?
Yeah, yeah.
That crosses your mind it crosses my mind quite often. And then you see videos of people that are really negative about education and talk trash and bash parents and all that stuff, and then you're like, wow, that went viral, but like my talk on, I don't know, trying to build relations with students with difficult behavior didn't barely got any views, barely got any likes, no comments, like that is discouraging.
It
But
is.
like you said, just keep posting.
I learned we used to do this thing. Me and my bro used to do this thing, and I haven't done it in a while, but we'll continue. It's called the vision room. My gift is like visionary. Like I see the idea and I make it happen. And we used to use the vision room to invite educators in just to talk about what education can be inspiring. I always close out in prayer. But like reading the comments after, because sometimes I'd be like so hyped that I go back and scroll back through. I'm like, yo, they need this. They need this. Like my goal is to empower and encourage. I have an encouraging gift, right? And like sometimes that can get mundane because people be like, "Oh, he got a lot of foo-foo. It's a lot of foo-foo." No, I'm telling you what I know, right? And just to hear the feedback, of like, "Yo, you don't know how much I needed that. Yo, you," and I don't say that cocky, like being cocky, but I say that because like you're necessary. We're necessary. What we're not gonna do is get up here on this good old TikTok, not on my watch, and not talk about the mentoring going on. We need black males. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need mentoring. We doing it. Ain't
Mm-hmm.
nobody teaching these kids how to write checks. We are.
Mm-hmm.
Like y'all not gonna talk. When I first became a teacher, and I'll shut up after this. When I first became a teacher, I was in the barber shop,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Yo, what you do?" I was like, "I'm a teacher." You mean you coach? No, I'm a teacher. You mean like a teacher assistant? Man, why can't I have my own classroom?
Yeah.
Like, like I
Yeah.
fought for the title, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
And I feel like every time I post a video, it's like it's affirming that I got something to prove, right?
Mhm.
And it's also this is really my answer. It's constant reminder that I have space here because I was a business major. So when I came in, I already had one leg down. I had something to prove. I was
Yeah.
the youngest. I was the only black teacher in the classroom. My AP was the black then, but I was the only black teacher. I was the youngest. I ain't know what pedagogy was, right?
Mhm.
And like I had 5 weeks of training through Thurgood Marshall, teacher quality and retention, right? Train me from 8 to 5. I had something to prove.
Yeah.
So like every time I see these things, it's affirming. Every time I get a chance to share, it's affirming that like education can be different.
Mhm.
Education is out here for those educators that look like me or sound like me or didn't have background like me. Like for such a time as this. Like I'm called
Right.
for such a time as this. So
That's
that's
right.
what it is for me. That's what it is.
That's right. Well, Mr. Johnson, we're coming toward the end of the podcast right here. And toward the end of the podcast, I always ask my guests, what are 3 tips that you give the future educators? What are your 3 tips you give to future educators? This is student teaching season, you know. What would you tell these young teachers?
I would say be yourself because we need your character and your personality and your creativity. I would also say be coachable. Then I also would be creative.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
yourself, be coachable, and be creative is what I would say.
Perfect. Well, Mr. Johnson, I really enjoyed the conversation. It was passionate. It was heartfelt. There was wisdom, and it was just a good time. It was a good time to speak with you and just feel the passion that you have as an educator. You know, and so thank you for your time here on this podcast.
Thank you for the invite, sir. Thank you for the invite.
No problem.